I saw an atheist versus Christian Facebook group where the atheists were arguing that the Bible promotes and condones slavery. Would you be able to make a video discussing how this is wrong? Well, first off, the Bible never condones slavery. To condone something is to say, hey, it's okay, go ahead. But that's not what God is doing. So God's design was never for slavery. God's design was freedom. We can see that at the beginning. Let's take a step back and look at something Jesus brought up. Not related, but works the same way. When talking about marriage and divorce, Jesus mentions how they were created by God's design, male and female, man and woman, husband and wife. The two shall become one flesh. He says that's God's design from the beginning. But what we can also see from the beginning is that God didn't create slaves. Eve was not created to be Adam's slave, nor did he create anybody else to be Adam's slave. God's design was freedom. But just as Jesus points out that Moses allowed them to have divorces out of the hardness of their heart, so also God, knowing they would have taken slaves anyway, at least regulated it so they wouldn't be horribly mistreated like they were with Western slavery. But also keep in mind, there was a functional use for it. If they didn't have this, then they would have had to completely wipe out entire civilizations. There was only a handful where everyone had to be, unalived. Most were either subjugated or forced out of the land. And you can say whatever you want about that, but it's God's land to give. There were no prisons, and there were no bank loans. There were no credit cards. Sometimes this indentured servitude version of slavery worked as a way to take care of prisoners as well as pay off debts. Let's not forget there was a year of Jubilee. The only people who stayed slaves forever were people who were a threat or people who chose to be loyal to a house. And there's a ceremony for that as well.